What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in once again to Change It Up the Hip Hop Guards. It's me, Uncle E. That's my partner, the journalist Sincere. Everybody tuned in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like, make sure to share, leave us a comment, let us know how you like our show so far. Joining us today, we have none other than Rhinoceros Funk in the building. You from Jersey or from the Bronx?
I reside in the Bronx. I've been in the Bronx for a long time, but I'm originally from Washington Heights, man. Born and raised in Washington Heights.
Oh, okay.
My family's still there. Still get drugs there. Nah, Washington Heights, man. My fucking brothers are there. My mom is there. My dad is somewhere there. But Washington Heights, man. And I'm right here by the stadium. So Washington Heights is I can see the bridge from my apartment, bro.
Word, nice.
So Washington Heights is who I am, man.
Got you. So yeah, do us a favor, man. Before we get into, you know, you have a new album out. Before we get into that, take us back a little bit and let us know a little bit about yourself. You just told us, Washington Heights. But how did you start getting into hip hop? What was it like coming up teenage years?
Teenage years. Started out with no pussy. And then it developed into getting pussy. Now I'm fucking with you. It was it was radio. I mean, that was really like my outlet. Like it was just a whole bunch of dudes. We had a whole bunch of dudes on our block. Like, if you was a girl on our block, your parents didn't let you out, B. It was just dudes. So we always had a fucking radio. And I remember vividly when fucking people were like, yo, man, these shows, bro. All the way in the beginning of the radio dial, right? Like, but you have to stay up. And, found Stretch and Bob. And then it's a constant digging. And that shit to me became something like a cult. You know what I mean? Like, I would fucking, I mentioned before, I went to Hayes, and then I had to come into the Bronx. And then my parents were like, you think we fucking rich, asshole? Fuck you. Go to public school. I was like, all right. So I went to public school. And then I was able to walk because I went to G-Dubs. So I would walk the mile over to school. And then that became a whole thing where it was me and my Walkman, dude. It was always just me and my fucking Walkman. And having those mixtapes, like I've always had mixtapes in my fucking bag. Always had an extra pack of batteries. You know what I mean? And that became a shit. Like even in my high school yearbook, man, somebody was like, yo, always do fresh tapes. Because like whenever we would meet up, I play some shit, and people are like, yo, what is that? And I'm like, this guy Biggie. Yeah, you'll know about him later. Don't worry about it. And everybody was just always into the radio. And I was like, man, you're being programmed, man. That radio shit is whack. Listen to this. So that was that start. You know what I mean? And then we were broke. Couldn't really afford records, but I would have like a record or two here and play it on my bullshit little turntable. But like, I remember vividly when Street Level dropped with the Beat Nuts. I had a friend who had turntables, and he had copped that shit. And right before I got to his house, I was like, whoop. I went, copped me a little TDK, put that shit in. I was like, yeah, play the record. And we heard the record, and when I left his crib, I had that shit from my Walkman walking back to my crib. So it was always, it was the sound, but more than the sound, it was the words. And it was words that dealt with what we were dealing with, man. Like, I don't know if anybody ever done this, man, but go back and look at Washington Heights riots, 1992. Like, that shit was
right.
That shit was wild bananas, bro. Like we were being fucking terrorized, man. I learned the word "spick" from a fucking Irish cop punching me in the chest. You know what I mean? Like that shit was wild because we were taking over a neighborhood that for generations was predominantly Irish, then turned into kind of Puerto Rican, and then it became straight Dominican, fucking no English, very isolated, marginalized population, man. Like by when we were growing up, we had like 3 Irish people left.
Right.
When I was a teenager, they were like, we out. Saw Dominicans. And then I grew up in a building with 3 crack houses. You know what I mean? So it was a very wild time.
Right.
You know, you go to the roof, you listen to your tapes, you know. By the time you start smoking trees, you know, chip in, get a little dime with somebody, blaze up, you got your tape, don't talk to me. And we keep it moving. So
Right.
hip hop was always there for that.
Right. So were you always just into more of the music side? Did you dabble in any other thing like, you know, breaking, graffiti, anything else? Or was it just strictly the music?
I mean, the graffiti was there, bro, because I grew up on this block, which I started to understand the importance of this block, and it's 173rd in between Broadway and Fort Wash. And I was watching this documentary called Wall Riders, and it's the origins of graffiti and the importance of Washington Heights in the graffiti movement. And we're talking about like 67, 69, you know, with cats like, and I mention them all the time, man. Taki 183,
Yeah.
And you know, like, yeah, I grew up with like Smith and Zane tags. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I grew up right in front of a schoolyard, and that schoolyard was huge. So we had, you know, stickball tournaments. I mean, it was and mad walls. So it was just graph all the time, right? And the beautiful thing about that is that there was so many. I mean, FK. I don't know if you guys were familiar with FK, but FK used to fucking hold meetings in that schoolyard, bro, and it would roll in 100 deep just to have a fucking meeting. I'm like, damn, how do you free internet? How do you set this up, right?
Right.
But it was amazing to see that. But it also, what it taught me was like, you stay in your lane, right?
Okay.
I was a fat kid. I could play football, but I couldn't boogie, so I wasn't the b-boy. You know what I mean?
Right.
I had decent hands. I stick to my shit. I tag up here. I'm not going out there because I don't have that kind of hand style. I don't think I'm good enough to do that. But when you want to get down some bubble letters, bring out a blackboard, motherfucker.
Right.
And we'll get down. You know what I mean? I know how to shade. I'm confident in that, but I'm not gonna go out there and do that on the streets.
Gotcha.
So my shit was the music aspect, man. Analyzing the music, the words. Always had words. I started reading when I was young, and I was like, "Yo, man, stick to that lane, B. Stay in your lane."
Got you guys. Yeah, what was the name of that documentary you just mentioned?
Wall Riders.
Yeah, DJ True sent me a clip of that, man. I keep forgetting. It's on YouTube, I think,
on
right?
YouTube,
Yeah. I gotta check that out.
At what point did you start getting into writing?
So, it's crazy, man, because I remember people asking me, yo, like I mean, this is like late 80s, and you know what? Again, man, Dominicans, like, so Dominicans will get the words wrong, right? We'll get the words wrong and shit, and I'm like, nah, that word is wrong. Somebody correct me and shit, and I remember people like, yo, man, I'll write that down, and I remember. I'll tell the story. Fuck, I was young, man. Some guy got me. He's like, "I'll give you $10, man, if you write the lyrics down to the song." And I was like, "Word!" Started writing it down. He saw I wrote it down. He's like, slapped me and ran with the fucking lyrics. I was like, "Oh, yeah." I mean, it was, yeah. And then that's when you learn how to fight, man. You got to fight back, and then that's how you start fighting in the streets when people start sucking you for that shit. But things like that. So analyzing the words, I think is something I started doing in the early 90s, but then when I got to college in the mid 90s and I started reading and hip hop starts taking a turn into this kind of like evolution of what people are saying, this break away from the what's been said before, you know what I'm saying, the Cold Flow era, the arsonist era, different, that starts kind of like putting this shit together in your head. I study sociology, so I'm like, yo, man, I'm reading all these concepts. I'm thinking differently. I'm knocking out mad books. So I start writing. But the writing, the words were there, but the pentameter wasn't there. The framework wasn't there yet.
Right.
And I started doing radio in '98. And with radio, like I would bring my CDs and shit, and I play those shits. I was like, fuck this. That's why I started driving down from Albany and hitting up Fat Beats, picking up vinyl because the radio station we had, motherfuckers would steal the records as soon as they would come in. They were gone, dude. Oh, shit. I still got shit that says property of WCDB. Fuck you. Come and get me, B. And in that process, I mean, like in the late 90s and then early 2000s, coming down, copping records, some trees, dropping right back up. I mean, that's how I met Breeze. Breeze Broom was working at Fat Beats, right? And then we would spark conversations. He hit me over some records, shit on the side, and that DJing aspect then got me into the manipulation of the music, right? Just not playing it, but actually DJing it, right? And then in doing that, then I was like, oh, you know what? I'm ready for production. And then figuring out production aspect. You know, I mean, I used to play instruments when I was a kid, so it wasn't like it was a far-fetched thing. In doing that, then the words that I continuously wrote, right, they started making more sense to the beats. Yes. And then start moving them along and gaining my flow and freestyling. Like freestyling every goddamn day. I freestyle my dog, dude. You know what? You want to go outside? And she's like, yeah. So it's in me. I mean, it's in me. It's not something that it's like I can't turn it off. You know what I mean?
So production came before MCing for you?
I mean, it's not a hard question, but it's. I think they matured together.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because the MCing was there, like I said, I had a whole bunch of words, and if we were at a party and shit, and a beat came on, you know, I would freestyle. But recording aspect of MCing, I think is completely different, right? And we know that shit throughout history. I mean, the other day I was listening to a fucking Supernatural song. I mean, no disrespect Supernatural, but come on, man. It's like, you know, a cat. When you freestyle, when you write, it's completely different, man. And balancing out your art when it comes to freestyle as to writing and actually composing, it's two different things.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that too, because I remember I was always a fan of Supernat, you know what I mean? And then I remember when he was gonna come out with the album, I was super excited, and I got the joint.
Yeah, it was a massive letdown. Let's be honest, goddamn.
Yeah, it was. No disrespect to him, man. He's a dope, you know, but yeah.
Well, what happens is what you say, then you're riding the lane of a sideshow. That's what you're doing. It's like, man, you it was a lecture. Your man, he had a lecture behind him. Yeah. It was funny. Breeze was like, we was having a conversation. I'm like, damn, Breeze was on lecture, Super Nat, or ODB, Mad Heads was on a lecture, right? And then I was like, yo, Breeze, why happened to a lecture again? He was like, they signed Missy. they chanked everybody, like fuck everybody, and they just put everything behind Missy. Right. I mean, to have that kind of opportunity, and again, I'm not trying to waste time over here shitting on the motherfucker. He lives, but it's to have that opportunity, man. I mean, let's go back to that practice. I mean, yeah, man, practicing the game. You practice the freestyle, but now you in the game, man. Write some shit that's gonna say some shit, and not to say that the shit was like extremely whack, but it's just like you can tell that it wasn't what it could have been.
The song structuring wasn't right for an album. You know, that's all it was. But
can you talk a little bit about at what point you felt comfortable, you know, with your production, your MCing, and you started kind of paying your dues, letting the world hear your music?
So that was and that's I mean, it's a wild thing, man, because people don't understand how that shit is something you really have to say this is for me, man. Like I know a lot of heads. I've even seen that shit recently. You know, you gotta make music for other people. Man, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck people. If you're not doing this shit for yourself, then don't do shit. Don't do a goddamn thing.
Right.
Because, I mean, I would play beats, and then, you know, you get your friends that are like, oh, that shit is dope. And I'm like, you know, So, like 2000, 2001, my friends are hearing the beats, and I'm like, I don't know. Right? And just to put it to you like this, in 2009 or 8, right? First joint I take to my man Fred Ones, and I always tell the story because I love this fucking story, right? And you know, we just started doing all the lyrics. You know what I mean? And that's the other thing, finding an engineer, right? It's a fucking hard thing, and those years were very difficult, right? Because if you're new to making music, you could be making music in a way in which, again, if you're not taking on an internship and you're not following along, you're not doing things in a particular way, you think it sounds a particular way, but when an engineer gets it, they're like, yo, this is garbage.
Right.
So the first beat I take to Fred was, and he's like, yo, I didn't even know you rhyme like that. I was like, oh, yeah, I wasn't out there, even though I kind of was. And he's like, yo, this shit is garbage. And I'm like, yo, good looking out. And I just had to take that shit with stride, bro. Just like, yeah, all right. But what's crazy is the next week I came in with another beat, and he's like, oh, this is dope. And then I came in with another one. He's like, oh, this is dope. And by the end of that album, he had 2 songs on it, produced himself. You see what I'm saying? So that's my point is. My point is, if you're doing it for people's attention or people's approval of you,
yeah,
man, go see a therapist, nigga. It ain't for you. This ain't for you, man. This is fucking hardcore. Fuck out of here, B. Don't do this shit. Don't think you're out there getting love from everybody, man. So I come back down from Albany. I was in Albany for a while. And I come back down from Albany, and I start hitting up the open mic scenes.
Okay.
And I mean, back then that was 05. That was still, you could still give a nigga a CD. So I started bum rushing shows, and I had a CD, wrote my name on it, and it had fucking paper. Here. And it's a wild thing. I was just bum rushing, give it to people and shit. And that's when I started getting some feedback. Like, this shit's dope. And it's like I ran to like Mr. Len like a couple of years after that. He's like, yo, man, I remember you gave me that CD in the club one time in the paper, bro. I still got that shit. That shit is dope. I'm like, yo, good looking out. Things like that. Things like that is why you should be doing this shit. If you're gonna do this shit. Little babies, gentlemen, little baby boys and girls.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. We probably bounce around a little bit.
I love it. Don't worry about it, man. I do the show all the time.
Because you said before you got into radio, which sounded like you jumped into that real early. How did that come about, and what even sparked your interest to want to get on radio?
College, man.
College radio.
Yeah, man. College radio, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I would listen to fucking Stretch and Bob, dude, and they were working out of Columbia. So when I got to fucking Albany, there was a fucking there was a slot opening. There was a shorty that she had a radio show. She was graduating, and she had that shit Monday nights, from 7 to 10.
Okay.
And she knew my boy, and my boy said, "Yo, you gotta do this with me." I was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah!" So we went to the classes. I interned under this dude real quick that I know. He used to have a salsa show every Sunday at noon. So I would go with, and I watched how he did it.
Yeah.
And we took over that show, and I had that show from 1998 to fucking 2005 when I left. And my slots would change. because I stopped going to the meetings. You know what I mean? One time I got there, they gave my true story. They gave my show to a fucking blind DJ. I was like, what? This is an anomaly. And I'm like, am I going to have to fight this blind motherfucker? I'm like, nah, man. What if I lose? Like, you got it, Blind Fury. And then I would get slots like fucking midnight at 2 a.m. But I would still go, man. Go to the campus center with my Creative Records and fucking DJ, bro. Just DJ. And then fucking what's wild is like one of my best friends now and shit. Like to this day, man, fucking one of my boys, yo. He called up one day and I picked up the phone. And I was like, yeah, what up, man? CDB, what up? And he said, yo, what's that last song you played? And I was like, oh, it's Operation Doomsday, man. MF Doom. He's like, yo, I've never heard it. And he's like, interested in the song. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm picking up the phones, I'm DJing, and I'm getting my own coffee. You want to know more? Come upstairs. I'm in the campus center. And your man showed up. And we became friends.
You got it right behind me.
Yeah, I mean, that shit to me is fucking, it was a dope-ass adventure, bro. Dope-ass adventure.
That's dope, man. So did you were you able to take advantage of the fact that you were on college radio, and as far as your own music, did it help you at all as far as trying to get you, pushing yourself out there?
Oh, fuck yeah, man. I mean, here's another fucking story. So, I mean, it's Albany, and I became well known because I was DJing ill shit that nobody ever heard because I was driving down to Fat Beats, right?
Okay.
So, ill story. Not that many people know Albany like that, but it can get really fucking wild up there, right? So, I'm in a spot, and this is told to me like 2 days later. I'm in a spot. I had a drink, and Stu came up to me. He's like, "Yo, my man, you had no idea what happened on Saturday." I was like, "Yeah, I was at this place." He's like, "Yeah, I know, I was there." I was like, "What happened?" Not happy. He's like, "Yo, this guy was gonna kill you," and I'm like, "What do you mean kill me?" And he's like, "Yo, that he was entering through the parking lot, and he saw a guy, and the guy was upset, and this guy was a barber, so everybody knew him." And he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna get my gun, I'm gonna shoot that motherfucker right there." And he's like, "Who?" He's like, "That motherfucker who jumped me last week." And he's like, "That's not the guy who jumped you. That's Rhino from the radio." So fucking, he was able to come closer and see that I wasn't the guy. But if that guy didn't know me from the radio, that guy would have gone to his car, probably surpassed his radio, grabbed his gun, and put 3 in me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was Rhino from the radio.
I know from the radio.
You know what I'm saying? And it also helped out because I mean, I got to DJ up there, bars and shit, and then what happened thereafter is that I started doing battles, right?
Okay.
So it helped my rhyming. Started doing battles up there, and the scene was dope. The scene was dope, man. We had heads come up, like we had like C-Rays would come up. I mean, the underground scene was dope in Albany back then, in the early 2000s, man. And dudes, were battling for cash, man, battling for cash. And that shit was a real fucking live scene, man, real live scene. So,
what point did you meet Silent Someone?
Silent. In the heavens, bro. I met him in the heavens before I was born. Nah, man, I love Silent. Silent. I met Silent through Fred Ones, and he put me on. He put me on his album. I Have Company, Rhinoceros Funk. He gave me the beat, and I was like, "Yo, listen, I've been working on this song in my head, Rhinoceros Funk, for so long, with the Kool Keith Rhinoceros Funk sample." And I was like, "Yo, man," he sent me the beat, and I record at home. So I recorded it, and he was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" And I was like, "What the fucking deed, sir? What the fucking deed?" So had met prior. He was at the Art of Lyrics. We did a beat battle and shit. But that right there kind of solidified our relationship in the sense of like, you know what I mean? Like, we looked in each other's eyes on some real man love shit and said, "You're cool and you're cool." And since then we forged, I think, a relationship that is something to cherish when it comes to MC producer.
Right. What's your creative process like? You guys released a project before this new EP. What was that conversation like as far as, you know, the direction you two were going?
Well, to be honest, it forged heavily with I dropped an aesthetic act of aggression back in 2016, and that was the majority was silent. I think there's like 16 tracks, 14 tracks, and Silent did 12, and Fred did 2. And at the time, I mean, we were both going through shit, but we ended up living kind of next to each other. I was living over there by the 2 train, fucking on Holland, by Pelham Parkway, and he's over by the Pine and shit. And we were just hanging out, and he's like, "Yo, what you think about this beat?" And I'm like, "I like it, leave it," and he'll leave it. And then the thing is, and I wanted to touch on this, is because it's apropos to your question here is I would take the beat, and again I record at home, so I would chop the beat up in the manner that I wanted. Right? If I wanted to do a 16, then I would goddamn fucking do a 16 style. And I would construct the song. It's still his song, and if I would go back to him, like, yo, rearrange this. I'm doing it like this, right? And we did it. It was a long process because both of us were as technically savvy, right? He was just straight hardware, and Fred was doing everything for us. So we did that, right? And then we did Silent Funk 1 that came out last year, right? And he looked at me and said, "Yo, no more rearranging my beats." And I looked at him and I said, "You know what, dude? Fuck it, man. Rocky and Apollo, baby. I'm not gonna do it, right?" So what that did, to be honest with you, is just it opened up a new channel, right? Because now I'm like, Manda. He sends, and whatever he has there, I'm gonna work around it. I'm going to, if there is, I mean, on the new joint, there is this horn that he was like, "Yo, how did you think about that?" I just thought about it playing. I'm like, "Yeah, because you're a producer, but I'm thinking about the space that has to be consumed within this sound." I'm like, it took me like 2 days. I'm on a train, like singing it out until I got it right. Brought my wife in. I'm like, "Sing this shit, bitch." She sang it. We sing it together, and it works. But the point is, if there's 8 bars there that he wants, I'm gonna rhyme those 8 bars, come in, do something crazy. So it's a challenge, right? It's a challenge that I think that wouldn't have been there if it was just me producing myself, which I still produce myself, right? I still drop my own shit, and but to have him kind of like, throwing in a double dutch and shit, like, "Oh, let's do it," right? And that's how I see it when I work with Sal. And it really is a fun process because now, as I mentioned before, we're strictly on hardware, but now we both do mixes, mastering. Like, we're picking up our game in which we don't need anybody else.
Right.
Yeah, real quick, man. I just want to share with you because it's kind of funny how things connect. We were just talking before we really started about an event that me and Cecilia had at Union Pool this past Monday.
Yeah.
And we had DJI Truth there, and he brings his man Yazid.
Yeah, Yazid was here yesterday.
Right. So, he got on the microphone, killed it. And I'm kind of like, prior to the event, I was looking up Yazid, and I see a few things. And then, then I see we're gonna have you on.
Yeah.
And I was telling Cecilia, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of familiar with Rhinoceros, but I couldn't really remember exactly why. I knew about the guerrilla radio, and then I came across and I figured out it was through the Sophisticated Savage.
Yeah.
I think a little while back I had a different platform that I was doing, and I shared something from Sophisticated Savage, and then I put everything together. I was like, that's Yazzie was on that.
Yeah. And we
With
did
MC
and Whiteout.
Whiteout.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to tell see, I'm like, yo, there's something about with Yazzie.
Yeah.
I know at first I'm just like, yeah, this is our troops, man. They working on something, and that was that.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of funny how everything connected. So can you talk a little bit about Sophisticated Savage?
Yeah,
How did that whole thing come about?
That's my baby right there, man. I mean, we all know it. Fucking my man Whiteout, remember he had a song, and so you get on this, and we were over at Fred's, and the song had, I mean, he was going through some shit, and it was very personal, and I got on it, and I was like, oh man, can I do the hook? And he was like, yeah. So I did the hook, and I was like, yo, this song needs something else. He's like, what do you think it needs? I'm like, it needs Yazzie. I went and got Ya put together, and I was like, yo, man, we should be called Sophisticated Savage, yo. And then from then on, I was like, oh shit. And bing, it worked out. And I mean, they were both here last night. We had the radio show and had a fucking blast. And I'm glad you brought that up, man, because back to like going back into like doing shit and doing it for yourself, doing it for and getting the props from the people you really want to hear from, right? Sophisticated Savage is up there, man. We were practicing at TME. We had a show in Miami, and we were practicing at TME, and fucking Melly Mel was in Studio A waiting for somebody to show up. He was gonna do something with them. And he walked out and he sees us practicing. And we done. He looks at us, he goes, yo, y'all dope. And I sat down, I smoked a cigarette, and I was like, I'm a bask in this right now. I'm a bask. And I was take a picture. I'm like, I don't even want a fucking picture. I just sat there and I was like, yo, thank you, bro. And that's, I mean, it's dope when you can not only have a crew and you could put dope music out with, but also a crew that dudes that you can call your friends. You know what I mean?
Right,
and that's
right.
what's fucking fantastic about it.
Right. And you guys are still putting music out together as far as Sophisticated Savage?
That's funny, man. Whiteout actually texted us this morning. He's like, yo, man, when we started the new album. And I was like, hey, you fucking dirtbag, when you get this messy cutout on my house. You got a full-size messy cutout in my hallway. My wife was like, what the fuck is Messi doing in my hallway? Now I gotta take that shit downstairs. I gotta murder this motherfucker, bro. Like, I gotta put him in a bag and shit. I killed football's greatest man.
Yeah, you better be careful with that one.
It's hilarious, bro. It's hilarious. But it's
so it's gonna be something coming up then.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, the group we are grown men with bright minds, and a passion, a passion for music, a passion for rhyming, and a passion for saying something, man. I mean, it go back for those who are not familiar with Sophisticated Savage. You got 2 albums out there. Go out there, listen. And there's a lot of deep shit that we say, man, about the economy, about the system, about racism, about a lot of shit, man. We are not fucking drug dealing rappers. No, grown men with jobs.
Right.
New EP out with Silent Someone, Silent 2. Can you talk a little bit about that project?
Silent Funk 2, A Funky Silence. It's I can't even say it. Truly, it's the universe, because 3 is already done, and then 4, I'm working on 4 now. So 2, I recorded 2 last year, right before we dropped Funky Silence, Silent Funk 1. I recorded that shit here, and then the process was, I recorded it here, I sent it to Sal, and once we did that, I said, you know what I mean, let's re-record. So then I went to his house and shit. Sal has been boosting up his equipment. The man is, I mean, I'm telling you, man, in the sense of like where we were 10, 12 years ago, full entity of just everything being done. And he's definitely invested in his artistry. And we went over there, we re-recorded, and I'm so glad that we did so. Originally, 2 was going to be much longer. And we said, nah, man, let's chop it up again, attention span. Let's do 7. And it's quick 7, 20 minutes, but I think they're all goddamn bangers in a sense, man. You know, we open you up with, I think, Look Out Baby's the first song, we got the intro, then Look Out Baby. And again, the themes, I'll get into that, man. The themes. I mean, I'm a dude that you don't know if I'm talking about a rapper or if I'm talking about the system, right? You can't even decipher that, because at times I am talking about both. Whether you be, I mean, whether you are an agent for the system or you are the system. And I think they're interchangeable, and it's much better than listening to somebody talk about how great they are.
Right.
So, Sal, I mean, Sal couldn't be here today. And damn, I take it back. His technology is not that good. He ain't got no camera on his shit. But he is solid someone. He doesn't say much. I'm the spokesperson of the squad. That's why I'm the Boom Bap Bob Costas, baby. So Sal, I mean, Sal's a guy that is always digging for records, right? He is the epitome of a digger. He's always looking for sounds. I mean, that's also where our kind of our fraternal bond lies as well. Is that you know, we listen to shit, sound bites, movies, and we'll text each other like, "Yo, this is dope. We could use this," or "This is funny," or "Oh, you ever heard this?" Or his documentary, you pull from that. And when you're in that mind frame, and I was having a conversation with Yazid about this last night, where anything, you could jack anything. When you think you could jack anything, you are working at extreme levels of production, man. You're like, oh, I can grab that drum, I can grab that, I can grab this, and forge it together and make something new. But what Sal does in grabbing a lot of different sounds, I think very, very few people can touch him. I put that shit on everything. Very few people can touch Sal on his drums, on his samples, on his ideas. Very few. So when he sends me something, I'm like, yo, this is gonna happen. If there isn't this process, oh, you know, we'll wait a couple of months. Nah, man, we're gonna work on this right now.
Were you guys in the studio together, or was everything kind of going back and forth as far as, you know, sending it through email?
Nah, back and forth. Again, like, I got my own studio here in my crib, so he sends me something, I throw it in my system. I record here, and then I send it to him, and then he's like, yo, I like this. And I'm like, all right, cool, man. So set it up. I'll be in your house next week, and then I'll re-record it. You know, I play it in the car, I play it on my headphones, and then go re-record it. I think it's such a smoother process, man. I was listening. Who was this? With y'all, man, with the Prince Poe interview y'all had. And Prince Poe was like, yeah, man, we was in the studio all the time. And I just kept asking myself, how much money did that cost? Right? Because somebody got to pay for that fucking studio time. I mean, and not saying anything bad about it, but back then that was part of the culture, right?
Yeah.
Was your man like, oh yeah, we got to be in the studio. We got to be in the studio. And then it'll be a party. And then you kind of tend to forget, like, hold up.
You never get like a half a record done, maybe.
What? We in here 16 hours? We didn't do shit? How much is that bill? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? That's a real thing. That's a real thing. So having home studios, having the ability to, you know what I mean, to record yourself, is something that I think has benefited a lot of people, but then again has destroyed a lot of people because a lot of engineers are no longer working.
Right. So who does the engineer stuff for you guys? Like does Sal?
Like I said, man, like I'll do pre-mixes,
yeah,
and then Sal will do the mixing, mastering.
He does it all. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with your name, bro?
Fucking my man, I've been big my whole life, dude. By the time I was 12 years old, I weighed 225 pounds, and I was playing street football with grown men in the streets, yo, for money.
Guys.
And everybody called me Rhino, right? So Rhino. Again, I got to college. My frat name is Rhino, and then Cool Keith did the hands-on experience joint with High and Mighty, and he says Rhinoceros Funk. And I was like, oof. So you know what? Let's add that. You know what I mean? Rhinoceros Funk. And peace of my man, Rhino Rick, man, from fucking from the Artifacts crew. We just spoke to him today and shit. And I'm like, yo, man, you know, there aren't many rhinos out there.
Nah.
Right? Well, we got to distinguish ourselves from the other rhinos. You know what I mean? So Rhinoceros Funk works.
And who's the as far as the album covers and coming up with the artwork, who's doing that?
That's all Sal, man.
That's him too?
Yeah, man. Because I mean, the man is constantly digging, and he's looking at record covers all the time.
I like the cover for this one, man.
Looking out, man. Actually, in his house, I had jacked him for like 3 years, yo. He forgot I had this shit, but he has a book in his house that I jacked him for. I gave it back. It's a book that's 1,000 album covers, and it's just a book, big ass book, and you just go through album covers. 1,000 album covers. That just and I had that shit here on my coffee table, and I would look at that shit. But if you're a fan of digging, if you're a fan of hip hop, you're a fan of music, you know that the album cover, the cover to the music, and I have a song. I got a song called "Digger's Delight," where I sat silent down one day and I was like, "Yo, man, we smoked a joint." I was like, "Yo, explain your process to me. I mean, explain how you feel. Explain like what is the angst you have when you walk into a record store." And he just, I wrote down everything he said, little notes, and I made a whole fucking song about it. Right. And it's that album cover that draws you. You know what I'm saying? It's very rare you're gonna run into a funky album cover and then shitty music. Right? It doesn't balance, right? You know what I'm saying? The cover's whack, the music's probably whack too.
That's kind of true. I mean, you look at, you know, even you the first thing that attracts you is the cover.
It's the cover, man. Like Confucius says, man, your feet dirty, your ass dirty.
Even if there's like at least one song is gonna be super dope, or a break or something on there you're gonna find. That's very true, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about Guerrilla Grooves Radio. You know, let everybody know what that's about. I mean, you've interviewed numerous amount of people. Talk a little bit about that.
Like I said, man, it started out in '98 with my college buddies and shit, and we used to call it the Food Stamp Radio Show. But then they broke out when we all graduated, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stay up here and get another degree. They broke out, so I was like, I gotta call it something else. So I started calling it Guerrilla Grooves Radio. But guerrilla. I mean, the gorilla's there. This is the original logo.
Yo, that's a Doom tattoo. That's not.
Oh, I got a Doom tattoo. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Look.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna give me a Team Warner. I'm gonna give me a Team Warner right here too.
Yo, man, that's ill, bro. Yo, I'm down with yo, that shit is ill.
You can't take my tats.
No.
You can't take my tats.
Yo, I'm down with Get Yours, man. I know, I grew up with KMD from Long Beach and Long Island.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, yo, that's really ill,
yeah,
bro.
Man. No,
I gotta take a snapshot of that shit.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my man Benz from the Heights, man. My man Benz came over to the crib. Was like, yo, man, I'm gonna give you the personal attention and just tag me right here in my fucking living room. And I got the Rhinoceros Funk right next to it.
Yo, that's dope, man.
So,
dope.
Guerrilla Grooves, and so when I came down, I mean, you guys know this because you promote hip hop, but the thing is, when you have a radio show, that's just a drug. It's a fucking addiction, dude. So when I came down, I was sad. I was sad. Like it was an era where again I wasn't so. There wasn't internet radio like that, you know what I mean? And I was sad that I didn't have my radio show. and it was like, fuck, dude, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? It was killing me. So luckily, I was able to get my fix with starting the art of lyrics with Fred Ones in 09, and we did the live shows. And then in 2015, I kind of figured this whole internet radio shit out. I was like, yo, my man, just go back. I want to do radio, man. Like, I just love being on the radio. I love dark rooms, put a mic in front of me, a beat behind me, and let's just talk and let's make it entertaining. And so we started doing that shit in 2015. And I mean, now, Fred no longer in New York, but I got my man Breeze Brewing, who jumped on and started doing it with me almost about a year ago. And now we do it out my crib every other Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Again, grown men. I can't hold it up every Tuesday because it's a little wild. And then we got like last night we had my man Jedi came in and DJ. The show before that, I held it down. So like I'll DJ if I can get a guest DJ. We had DJ Boo come through one time. My man R Train will come through. But it's me, Breeze, and then we got my man Paulie Waters who comes through, and we have our interviews. We have our fucking jokes, and it's that's really the main thing, man. And the most important thing is that it's fucking therapy. I mean, you guys know this shit. I see y'all intro, y'all shake hands and shit by the Wild Style joint. Yeah, exactly, right? It's fucking therapy, God. It's fucking therapy, man. Like yesterday, we opened up a bottle of champagne. I was like, yo, guys, thank you for the therapy. But the bubbly, it troubles me, man. Every time I drink champagne, I feel like a Colorado white girl, bro. My skirt gets open. You know what I mean? And I say shit like that, and I'm like, it's funny to me, man. We had who was it? We had Messiah of Madness on last night. And I was like, yo, what you doing, bro? And he's like, yo, man, I'm fucking 9 Heinekens in. I was like, God damn, 9 Heinekens. And I was like, yo, man, because Breeze's birthday is on Friday. Me and Breeze share a birthday. So that's really been a thing that we've always had and shit, right? So we talking about that. And I'm like, yo, you know what that means, right, Breeze? He's like, well, that our parents were fucking on Christmas. Like, they were fucking on Christmas. So we called Messiah. I'm like, yo, Messiah, man, what's your birthday? He's like, oh, in July. He's like, oh, man, your parents was Thanksgiving fucking? He's like, nah, I think it was more closer to Halloween. It was trick or treat in my house. So that shit had us laughing. You see what I'm saying? Like, this wasn't planned. It's on the phone.
It's just,
it's organic. He's laughing his ass off. We're laughing our asses off. We had people here, they were laughing their asses off. Everybody broke out. I was like, yo, man, on a Tuesday night, I just had a blast. We all drank beers and shit.
Yeah.
And everybody went home, right? And that is the environment that we've created with Gorilla Goose Radio, especially down here when we had TME. People would come Tuesdays, my man, and just we used to call that shit the gallery. And people would come, my man, and just sit there and just wild out. Me and Fred would leave, the show would be over, and people would still be there just freestyling and shit, having fun.
Nice. So where like if somebody wanted to tune in and check the show out, where can they do that at?
I'm on Mixler right now.
Okay.
Again, because we had Fred's no longer with us. He's not dead, but he's no longer with us.
Yeah.
But we would do. At one point, we were on BronxNet, fucking YouTube, Mixcloud. But right now, we got shows up on Mixler. The Mixcloud, there's still mad old shows you can catch on there. But there are, a lot of crazy ass episodes, man.
Yeah.
I think I've done close to over 3,000 interviews on the show.
Damn, that's crazy. Yo, when you first started doing the you said you were trying to figure it out and you were doing the online stuff. Do you remember what platform you were using?
Oh,
like when you first started on the internet.
So I'm not gonna say this dude's shit because when I see him, I still want to fuck him up. But some dude was doing. He had his own internet radio station, and I knew a guy that was on his platform, and he was like, "Yo, my man Rhino, and he was like, yo, man, I'm like, listen, B, I've been doing this for years. Bam. So he put us on his platform, right? Fuck him. We put him on the platform. And this is why it's a great story. He puts us on his platform. One day, we have Just Ice come in. And Just Ice is sitting in studio. I'm right in front of him, and we're just talking. And Just Ice, I love to fuck with him because he always tells me, I'm gonna live to 150, nigga. And I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. No one is. And so I'm fucking with him and shit. And out of nowhere, he starts with this, yo, I hate fags. I hate fags. I'm like, yo, dude, relax. But he's animated about it. And I'm like, trying to talk to him about, like, where does your hate come from, right? I was also a social worker. So I don't believe in just, like, shutting somebody down like that. Let's talk about where your hate comes from. Let's break this down. Let's unravel it so that you can see that you're being ignorant, right? So I'm talking to him about, where does this hate come from, bro? Like, why does their sexual orientation upset you so much, right? And he's like, and I look over, and we're no longer on the air. So I grab my phone, like, yo, what the hell happened? And the guy's like, yo, y'all gay bashing. I'm like, whoa. Are you not listening? And it turns out that he wasn't even listening. The person that was running the station was laughing so hard that he ran into the room, and all he heard was Just Ice say the word fag. And he just shut us off.
Shut you down. Damn.
So then from then on, I was like, you know what? I started looking into streaming sites and then started doing that shit. But that's my funny story about getting kicked off the first joint right there.
So
and it's like, yo, dude, like we have to be able to speak to people. And we have to be able to say, you know, where does this hate come from, man? Let's talk about it, man.
Your first encounter with Just Ice, that was
that's not my first encounter, because Fred Warren used to be Just Ice's DJ. So
okay.
I've had many. I actually at one time he hired me as his bodyguard, and we did a show in Jersey, and it wasn't my fault. She was in the way. I knocked the shorty out by mistake. She was in the way. I was trying to get him to the stage, and she was in the way. So I have a lot of Just Ice stories.
No, I'm just thinking, because we had the pleasure of interviewing him, man. I'm like, man, I'm glad that kind of conversation didn't happen.
Oh, it can get crazy. Yeah, man. But you know, he's a little calmer now.
Yeah.
This is some years back. But I mean, it's been a wonderful ride, man. A wonderful ride with some wonderful people. Oh, look, my Bob James signed hat right here. Bob James. Ran to Bob James. Like, yo, Bob, I don't have nothing for you to sign. It's either my tits or my hat. He goes, I'll take the hat. So he signed my hat. Silent Funk. Out there, man. Go check it out, man. It's 20 minutes long, 7 joints, man. I think, listen, man, I can't, I don't know if it's one of your questions, but I can't call a favorite, but I do love No Colors, just because it's a song in which I take on our perception of colors, you know, our human perception of colors, and kind of write it in an assortment of how, you know, most of these writers, as the sample said, the shit they write is black and white, and we don't. We live in the colors, man. We live in this array. And my favorite line on that joint is, was it too abstract to be mapped on color wheels? Bring down your crew like Q, Bishop, and Steel. You're Raheem. So enjoy that joint, man. Enjoy it. I don't know if you got a question.
Yeah. Right now, I'm still marinating on this album, man. But right now, I'm liking the last one. What y'all want to see?
Oh yeah.
For some reason, that one's, you know, just grabbed me, and I've kind of heard that one a couple of times.
That's Joe, my wife, man. Her name is Rhinoceros Funk.
Oh, that's your wife. That's your wife.
Yeah, that's my wife, man.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Shout out to her, man.
I mean, she's always knocking on the door in the studio, bringing me food. I was like, "You want to be in this record? Come on."
Nice,
put her on. Nah, man, she's a beautiful person, man. And you know, we I mean, that's how we met. We met through music. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had a conversation, and I was like, "Damn, you know, she's younger than me," but I'm like, She's of the era that she's a digger, right? So like she'll send me like, oh, have you ever heard this? I'm like, damn, but you weren't even alive. Like, you know what I mean? And that's just beautiful.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
when I get something, she's actually also on she's on a Silent Funk 1 as well.
Okay.
When I get something that I can put her on, I would love to do. I love to do that. Like, yo, man, she can hit a note. You know what I'm saying? So when you hit a note, stay within your shit, and knock it out the park, man.
Where can the viewers find this project at?
Well, everywhere, man. Everywhere, man. Everywhere. That's the beautiful thing about having a solid kind of thing. This joint we released on Bronx Sonics, which is my man Silent Someone's label. My label is Peasant Podium Music. Had that with Fred since 2012 through Foundation Media. Man, Google my name, man. Rhinoceros Funk. Rhinoceros Funk. And you all have a fucking phone. I know people 20-something years, man. Hey, Rhino, where can I find your music? I'm like, oh, let me see. You got a pocket? Yeah. You got a phone in that pocket? Yeah. And look, motherfucker, go to Google. You probably been watching gay porn at work anyway. Watch my videos. I got videos, me. If you Google Rhinoceros Funk, it's gonna say musical artist, and it's gonna be all these videos. You probably see me with a shirt off, and you look. You see me like that. It's gonna be there. It's gonna be there.
Yeah, you got mad shit, man. You got
All
a lot of stuff, bro.
What's next for Rhinoceros Funk?
Oh, I got so like I said, man, I also do my own joints, and I just wrapped up this joint that I call The Rhetoric of a Radical, all produced by me, and I got some people and shit that some MCs that I fucked with in the past. There's a Sophisticated Savage song on there.
Nice.
And so that should be coming out maybe October, and then Silent Funk 3. Thanksgiving, man, or maybe Dick or Treat. Maybe Dick or Treat, bring that back.
Yeah. So this before we get out of here, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you at, follow you, your social media accounts and everything like that.
Yeah, there's only one at Rhinoceros Funk Instagram. I don't post about my food or your food. I just post about music and for some reason, when I post about my niece and nephew, people think they're my kids. I don't have kids. Mind your business. Rhinoceros Funk. Googleize it. That's about it. But shout out to my man Silent Someone. More is coming. Trust that. More is coming. Silent Funk 2. A Funky Silence. Silent Funk 3. Silence Before the Funk. Silent Funk 4. That's going to be called The Funk, The Silence, and the Holy Spirit. We're not religious. That's why it's funny to me. But I mean, Rhinoceros Funk, Silent Someone, Bronx Sonics, Peasant Podium Music, Gorilla Grooves Radio. I mean, Google Gorilla Grooves Radio, Guerrilla. It's fucking sad that I have to tell grown men how to spell, and it still doesn't work. And then we have to understand that these are the same grown men that are giving me advice about things. I'm like, hold up, didn't you not know how to spell last week? Me? Know how to spell, then talk to me. Motherfucker. Please.
Big shout out to Jerry Graham for linking us up together.
Yes. Shout out to Jerry. I know how Jerry old. Jerry got a kid in college. I didn't even know he was that old. I was like, Jerry, now I gotta go up there and shake your hand, sir, and have some tea. Shout to Jerry. Shouts to y'all, man, for real.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Before
thanks for letting me be animated, man.
Of course, man.
At times she can get real like, yeah. And that's the whole thing about what I try to do with hip hop, man. Hip hop need jokes. Mm-hmm. We need fucking jokes, man. It's just way too fucking serious for no goddamn.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. Hip hop needs more dick jokes. Let's just laugh, man. Just fucking laugh.
You're right. You're absolutely right, man. Once again, man, on behalf of myself and the journalist Sincere and Changing of the Hip Hop Guards, we appreciate you for taking the time, man. Had a ton of fun having you on, man. I'm glad, I've been following you for a minute, but getting to speak to you you know, now it kind of puts everything together, man. So it's really dope, man. You're
Let's
a cool
link up,
person.
baby. Let's link up, man.
Yo,
You got me?
yo, we might be having another event coming up next
Let me
year.
know,
So,
B.
yo, Sophisticated Savage might come through.
Yeah, man. I show up with my own mic and my own props.
To bring that messy joint with you, bro.
Now that motherfucker's going out tonight. That shit is scary, B.
Yeah.
That man's a billionaire. And he's in here for free.
And he's chilling in your crib, man. Yo, throw him in the video, son.
All right.
Yo, much success to you, man. Keep going with everything you're doing, man. Keep going with the radio show. You know, shout out to Breeze Brewing and everybody over there.
Word.
And yeah, man, let's do it again once your next project comes out.
Thank you, man. Peace.
Peace.